Hello Flosstube, it's Lori from Mischievous Stitches. I want to welcome all of you to my channel today. I'm so glad that you're here. So this week I have several things to share with you. I have some haul. I've pulled out 2 new whips to focus on a finish. I want to share those. I have a previous frame piece that I've not shared with you before, so it's making its debut today. An update on my crochet Afghan for my daughter Jordan, and a big finish. So let's just jump right in. I'm gonna start with my haul. So a couple of videos ago, I shared with everyone a finish from 2020 that I wanted to fully finish. And in my mind, I had the idea to finish it into a drawstring pouch. I asked anyone if they had suggestions for good YouTube tutorials for finishing a drawstring pouch, and you all answered me overwhelmingly. There were so many different types of finishes, so many different types of videos that were suggested. So I want to thank all of you for taking the time to leave those suggestions for me. But another suggestion several of you made was to purchase this book. So this is the Sewing Club by Blackbird Designs. And there are several finishing instructions in here for drums, pin pillows. This one is finished on a little wooden drawer. You've got, this one is inserted into a wooden box. And so it goes into the finishing for the wooden pieces, it goes into the finishing for the drums, but it also has in here just what I asked for, which was a drawstring pouch. Now, unfortunately, I did receive this book after I finished my piece, but I now have the instructions for when I finish my next drawstring pouch. So if any of you were inspired by my finish on the drawstring pouch, know that if you have this book, as it was suggested to me, there's instructions for finishing one. So now I have this book and lots of new patterns to stitch. And I ordered this from Jen of Jen's Stitching Niche. And if you've never visited her shop, I'll link it, her Etsy shop below, so you can visit her as well. It came really quick. So all of you that suggested this book, thank you, thank you. I also picked up some other haul. I also picked up a Valentine Day piece, which is Lizzie Kate's. And this is Be My Valentine. I also picked up this one. This is Though He Seemeth Sleeping by Lucy Beam, Love and Stitches. Now this piece, I had it in my cart on 123 Stitch, and I just had not pressed that purchase button. And then I saw Lynette of Homesteading on the Homefront is working on this piece, and she was really singing its praises and just basically saying that, you know, it's a beautiful piece, and she hadn't seen many people stitching it. Seeing her work in progress was all I needed to push that button. So if you've not watched Lynette or you've not seen her update of this piece, I'll link her video below. Just go check her out. It's a beautiful piece. I didn't purchase the fabric for this one, but I had purchased some other large pieces of fabric for a couple of other pieces, and I'm going to use some of that fabric to finish that one. So let me pull those out. So here's 2 that I'm really interested in starting at some point this year. This is Scarlet House, a Dutch sampler. I love the symmetry of this piece. It's not perfectly symmetrical, but it's enough just to draw my attention. And then I also picked up Little Deed Sampler. This is one I will definitely start at some point this year. This is Little Deed Sampler, and it says, little deeds of kindness, little words of love, make our earth an Eden like the heaven above. So this is from Tanya of Scarlet House, and I bought 2 pieces of fabric for these. This one calls for Confederate Gray, and this one calls for 40 count Heartland linen from Picture This Plus. I just chose my own fabrics. One of my favorite fabrics is Wren, Picture This Plus Wren, and I think that this one would look really good on that. But I also love this one. It's just a basic Zweigart cream linen. It's 40 count. I love it. I think it would look really good with this one, with the colors. I don't see any light colors like white or ecru in this one. So I think it would look really good on this cream. But also back up to one I showed you a little before. You've got Lucy Beam. I can stitch her on either the Wren or the cream. I'll probably lean toward the Wren, but I do want to pull the colors because the colors up against the fabric will oftentimes change my mind over what I have decided to stitch them on. But I have, this year I'm not buying threads, and the reason for that is I'm focusing on finishes of previous, things that I've started, so on my whips. And I've got lots of things are kitted up. So I know as I finish things, I'm going to be adding those threads, those supplies back to my stash. And I don't plan on making a lot of starts this year. I plan on having a lot of finishes, not a lot of starts. And that's my plans right now. So, subject to change. And with that being said, I don't have a lot of neutral fabrics. I have fabrics, but my tastes have changed over the years, and I have a lot of the hand-dyed fabrics that I have stitched my memorabilias on in the past, and they're beautiful fabrics, and I don't intend to get rid of them, but they do not lend themselves well to sampler stitching, and samplers is where I'm at right now. I love them. I love the muted tones, the jewel tones. I just love a good, beautiful sampler, and oftentimes those vibrant hand-dyed fabrics doesn't work well with them. So I needed to add some pieces. So these pieces are larger than what I need for the finishing of the Scarlet House pieces, which means I've got extra to do the Lucy Beam piece on it as well. Originally, I had purchased this one, the woodland that I just, this woodland to stitch Lucy Beam on, and it's a lot darker than I thought it would be. I took a chance on it. Oftentimes if I go to a stitch shop, I will pick out fabrics there because we all know how the pictures online do not bring the true colors of the linens out. So I took a chance on this one, but I've got a couple of things to share with you that I've got plans for that fabric. So here it is, Valentine's Day weekend here in the US, and a lot of people are out working on Valentine's Day pieces. So I saw one this week on Instagram. It was an old Cricut collection piece. Someone had finished and framed it, and I thought it was beautiful. So I jumped on eBay and I found the pattern, and it is called Love and Carrots. And I purchased it for this piece. Now, as I got this in the mail yesterday, I noticed that the L is turned around backwards in this model stitched here. I don't know why that is, but I'm looking at the pattern on the back, and it's reversed for some reason. But with that being said, the stitcher that stitched and completed this piece had done so on a dark piece of linen. It modernized it. It really brought the colors out. So guess what I'll be using this for? Now, the pattern calls for, I think, 32, and I'm going to be stitching it on 40, so it's going to be a good bit smaller than the finished piece here, but that's okay. I'll find a way to finish it. And let me pull back out that Lizzie Kate. So this one is stitched on, maybe it looks like, let's see, let me look. Let me see what I've got stitched on. 32 count natural. So it is a darker color linen, but I'm going to even darken it up more and stitch it on this 40 count, which will make it a very small finish, but I plan to maybe make a scissors fob out of it when I've done stitching it. So both of these Valentine's pieces, I'll finish on this woodland that didn't work out for Though He Seemeth Sleeping, but I'll find another use, found this use for it instead. And one more that I kitted up with fabric, not with threads, is Christmas Rose by Blackbird Designs. I've saw a few of you working on this on Instagram. I bought a piece of 40 count Wren, which is one of my go-to linens. I really love 40 count, 36 count are my favorites. I love Wren, which is by Picture This Plus. I love a good creamy colored linen. I will stitch on white, but I prefer to stitch on creamy colors. And my other favorite would be Platinum, 40 count Platinum. But this one I bought to stitch on Wren, and I think Wren is what it calls for. So maybe this will be a start at Christmas, or maybe after 1st of next year. We'll see. And one more. I added to my Prairie Schooler Santa collection. I picked up this 2006 Santa. And this is Santa that is piecing together a stocking on his Singer sewing machine, his treadle machine. So this is a cute piece, and I'm glad to have this one. So now let me share with you my current focus pieces. So this is the Sweetheart Tree, LOVE squared. I started this in maybe 2017, 2016. I would take small pieces with me to work and work on it on my lunch break. So I didn't get maybe one thread, 2 threads in it. But I was able to finish all of the boxing around each of the letters, and I made a start on the lettering, and then I just put it down. So I picked it up this week because Valentine's Day was coming up. And here it is. It was a kit, so all the threads, the fabric, the needles was all inside. As you can see, it is a sparkle linen, which means, to me, that just means it's densely packed. It's a dense weave of fabric. I don't find it easy to stitch on. That may be why I put it down. I have put it on a small Q-snap to help me. And the directions on this is a little different than what I'm used to, because it doesn't just tell you what to do. It tells you what to do in order, as in, you know, letter L, stitch the out, you know, stitch the boxing, cross stitch the letter, and then it goes into the specialty stitches. So this box, the outer box of each letter is full of specialty stitches. So you've got lazy daisies, French knots, looks like some Smyrna crosses in there. So there's lots of specialty work in there. And it asks that you do all the cross stitching first, of course. So I just need to get cracking on those letters and then start working on those specialty stitches. It'll be beautiful when it's done. I don't have an idea as of yet how I will finish it up when I complete it, but I'm working on it. I've got time to plan. The other thing I picked up this week is a whip that I started in May of 2018, and this is a sampler story by Brenda Keys. It's an older pattern. As you can see, it just has a, excuse me. This is the picture of it. So it is 6 of these little tiles. I'm going to call them tiles. 6 tiles wide, 4 tiles deep. So 24. I originally started it on a white 28 count linen. That's what the pattern called for. And it's called to be stitched 1/1 on 28 count. So it was so funny. I sat down to work on this, and I started working on some of the boxing on this, and I just couldn't see it. I just couldn't see it. I noticed that I was going over 2 strands in certain places. I just couldn't see it. So I dug through my stash, and I found another suitable cream colored linen, and I picked it up and opened it up, and it was 25 count, and I had already made another start, and I'm assuming it's for this. It was the same color. It was a couple of lines, and I had put that away for whatever reason. I don't even remember doing it. And I worked on it a little bit and I said, oh, this isn't gonna work. So I picked up a 32 count parchment, Week Style Works parchment. And I said, I'm gonna stitch it 2 over 2. Wasn't working for me, didn't like it. And I started calculating again. I was concerned about the spacing on the edges of the fabric. So I dug back in my stash again and I pulled back out that 25 count white linen and I made a start again. I said, I'm going to give it one more try. I don't remember why it wasn't suitable last time, but I want to give it a try. So I flipped the corner and I made a start again and I can see it just fine. I'm not having any problems. I just have my readers on and some good lighting. Lighting is key and I want to share with you my start. So I made 3 restarts on this piece last weekend. And I'm finally satisfied. Here it is. So Tuesday or Wednesday night, I don't remember, I went ahead and started working on this square. And it looks like a birdhouse on a pole and a tree, a couple of birds, some clouds. And there's a barn and it looks like there is a horse in that barn, a black horse. And there's some fencing there. I'm going to get a little bit closer. So this is stitched 1 strand over 1 on 25 count linen. And last night I made a start in the next block. Let me share with you again the next block. So I've completed this one and I'm working on this. So it's just an urn or vase with some type of topiary growing. And there's, I don't know if you can see it because I can't see it in reverse. But there's a heart shape, so it has berries or fruit on the vine, and then 2 of them have merged together to form a heart shape there in the top. So I should be able to knock that one out tonight. They're going a little bit quicker. This square did not go very fast. So I've spent the majority of this week working on that. But last night, after finishing this one finally, I got a good bit done on that one before bedtime. So this will be another whip that I hope to knock out this year. And with love, I'm not sure that I'll finish that one. I'm going to work along on it as I work along on this one. Just it'll be like, I don't know, instead of my lunchtime piece for work, it'll be my break piece. But this over 1 can be tedious. I normally, when I'm stitching my X, I start in the bottom left-hand corner and I move up to the right-hand corner. And then I come down in the right-hand bottom corner and go up to the left top corner. With this, I'm doing opposite from that. So I'm starting in the top right, going down to the bottom left, and then going up to the top left and down to the bottom right. So if you think about that as I'm stitching, other than the first starting stitch, I've got a leg behind each square. Meaning as I come up out of the first one, because I'm ending in the bottom left-hand corner, I've got a trailing thread that's going up the back of my fabric to come down, back down across the front with that right hand. So what I mean by that is when I'm stitching with 1 over 1 on linen and not even weave's not quite so bad. I've stitched my By the Bay piece at 1 over 1 on 25 count on that even weave. But with over 1, the thread will slide behind the linen threads. So I like to have that trailing thread behind. So it kind of, in my mind, it kind of locks and it's not going to allow my stitches to slip behind the linen threads. I do stitch the majority. I will switch back and forth, meaning some of them I will stitch one cross at the time, and other places I will stitch across and back. But over 1 can be tedious because of that. Like I said, on the even weave, I've stitched over 1 on even weave and it's not quite as bad, but with this linen And with it being 25 count, it's more loose weave. As you can see the holes even in the pictures here. Those threads will slip behind. So I do stitch a little differently there. Okay, and since I pulled out that sampler company piece, I thought I would show you a couple of other sampler company pieces that I have that I will one day stitch. And this is Brenda Keys again, the sampler company. And this piece is, and I can't even see the name of it. This one's never been opened, it's sealed at the top. This is Plymouth sampler. I can see it on the tag. So I think this one was a gift from my friend Karen last year. She gifted me with this one. And this is Kind Fond Love sampler. I got this one some time ago. I think I was drawn to it after seeing, I think it was Lisa Kindred Stitcher. She was working on this one at some point, and I loved it. And these two I ordered about 2 years ago directly from the designer. And this is Abigail Markham sampler. I love the house, the colors, the symmetry. And it's very near and dear to this one that I've seen several of you stitching recently, especially Brian of Blitz Stitch. He's stitching on this one and it is gorgeous, gorgeous. Kind of eclectic in my stitching. I don't just strictly stitch samplers. I will stitch other things. I'm drawn to them. I think they're beautiful. I love big pieces. And Brian is very similar to that too. If you've not watched him, I'll link him below. Go take a look at his channel. He stitches some really big pieces too. He has his own style of how he goes about stitching and how he keeps track of it. But I love his videos and I love almost everything that he's stitching. We are very similar in our styles. So if you want to give him a look, I'll link him below too. But these are the few of the sampler company pieces I have. I think they're beautiful. But I'm really looking forward to, I'm going to share it one more time. I'm looking forward to having some work, getting some progress on this piece and getting it framed soon. So here is one more piece. I don't remember the name of this piece. I stitched this some time ago. I remember as a new mom, I had this on the wall in my living room, and I had stitched this when my kids were small. Actually, oh, well, thank goodness. I wrote on the back. I didn't even notice that. So this is Melbury by Serendipity Designs, stitched by me in 1999 and finished 11/1999 was when I started it. And I finished it in April of 2000. So this has been on my mantelpiece for years here, years. And at Christmas, I had taken it down and put a Christmas design in its spot. And now I've put something else in its spot. So, but I love it. I love it. So once again, Mulberry by Serendipity Designs. So it's hard to believe that this piece is 21 years old. I stitched it 21 years ago, and it just seems like yesterday. Mind-blowing. One other thing that I'm working on is my Afghan for my daughter Jordan. And this is where I've gotten. So you've got the stripey there. You can see the stripey. But you can also see the variegated thread that I've got in there. And this piece kept nagging at me as I was stitching it. The colors, I love the colors. And they're not showing up well today in this lighting because it's very gloomy and rainy outside today. But something was nagging me about the colors, and then I'm working on it Wednesday night and it hit me. I don't know if this particular restaurant is outside of the U.S., but is a well-known fast food joint here in the U.S., and it's called Burger King. Burger King colors. The green, the red, the brown, the orange, Burger King colors. Do you see it? So this is going to be my Burger King Afghan. But I've made a good bit of progress. This weekend I should start the repeat again, because the next color I'll put on is the dark brown. And this is using the Larksfoot stitch. So I'm still working along on that. And now for the big finish. You ready? This is Southern Land by Owl Forest Embroidery, using the called for DMC colors, or the suggested DMC colors in the pattern. I stitched it on 40 count casual linen using 2/2. I love it. Love it. It's beautiful. This piece, when I started it, I knew that when I planned to frame it, and when I frame it, I'm going to hang it at work. It looks like a patriotic piece to me with the colors, and I look forward to it having a place there in my office at work. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing my past work and my current works and my finish. And so this coming week, I plan on continuing to work on a sampler story. And I plan on probably dropping Southern Land off sometime this week to have it framed. And so I'll see you back next weekend with another video to share with you my updates, and I'll be eagerly watching all of you as you post your videos and your works in progress this week as well. So until next time, hugs and stitches. Bye-bye.